Quick note before we get into the video, I've tacked onto the end a recording I made of the forest that I was sitting in when I thought about all these things, as well as a graphic that outlines the specific steps for mindfulness meditation that I think would be really useful. I'm also going to link to the creator of that workflow down below in the video description. But I hope you enjoy the video and stick around at the end for some peaceful forest sounds. Alright, let's see if we can do this. I have been thinking about making this video and how to talk about it for quite a while, but we'll see. Before I get into that, hey, I'm Justin. Welcome to Less Bad Tomorrow. The goal for this channel is for me to share my experiences. I think I've overcome quite a few things in my life. I think that I used to suffer from quite a deal of depression. We can get into that in future videos, but I think I have some good systems to help, and I get quite frustrated with make the big change, everything will be perfect, work for perfection, when perfection is not really a thing. Struggle is part of life. So this channel is about what can we do, tips, tricks, approaches to make things a little bit better tomorrow than they are today. Make things a little bit less bad tomorrow than they are today. Incremental improvement and strategies to help you overcome things, and strategies that have helped me overcome things and will hopefully help you overcome things, because life is struggle. There will always be a problem. There's always going to be something. If you're looking for perfection, this is not the world for you. That's not how the world works. So I appreciate you joining the channel. Hopefully there's some improvements today. I had some feedback on my previous videos that the audio was a bit low, so I have invested in a microphone, and hopefully the audio quality is a bit better. If you like what I'm doing, do the whole like, subscribe, YouTube thing, and don't if you don't want to. That's all cool. If you've got questions for me, comments, feedback, you think I'm right, you think I'm wrong, throw it into the comments. I'm always happy to engage there. Keep it respectful. This is about making progress, and screaming and being an ass usually doesn't help very much. Anyway, I was looking at doing some fundamental videos as I was thinking of topics that I wanted to cover and approaches that I wanted to look at. There's a few fundamental things to the way I think and the way I approach things that I've learned over the years that probably, being fundamental, they're core to understanding what I'm talking about, so I can reference them in the future. Mindfulness is one of those. So I just wanted to do a quick video, or maybe not so quick, about how I see mindfulness, how I use mindfulness, and what its benefits are. So we're going to break down my definition of mindfulness a little bit, because you may have noticed that phrase is everywhere. It seems like I'm about to get a mindfulness Doritos advertisement. Yep, found one. I came to mindfulness through my Soto Zen practice. But it is not, and while it's core to that practice, it's not an inherently religious concept, and my goal here is not to try and talk to you about religion or convince you to be Buddhist. That's nowhere near what I want to do. But it is a helpful thing, and a lot of, as you probably know, a lot of therapeutic approaches have talked about it. It's getting to be more and more common, and I think it's very beneficial. The magical thing that I love about mindfulness is you don't have to understand how it works. If you practice it, it just works. You don't have to get it or understand what it's doing to feel the benefits. I personally think that can be quite helpful, especially for me. I tend to not start something if I don't know how it's going to fix or how it's going to help. I have struggled with having that type of faith in my life. So I like to go over how I see it working and how it applies to problems that I'm trying to solve. I'm going to link a bunch of mindfulness resources. I'll put probably some Buddhist links in there. Or not. If I can find a good link, I'll just put a bunch of stuff in there about how to do mindfulness practices. But seriously, Google how do I do mindfulness. ChatGPT could tell you. Lots of resources about mindfulness that are out there. So let's talk about it in context. So first we're going to talk some general stuff, and then we're going to talk about a specific mindfulness experience that I had just over the weekend. So first off, let me pull up some graphics that I made because I seem to be really fond of those. If you think about the human mind and sensory input, touch, taste, sound, or hearing, sight, smell, the mind, in my opinion, is a sense. The things that can go into your brain that you can think about, that you can be aware of, that you can respond to, the things that your brain is responding to most of the time. Sensory is what I mean by sensory input. This image... Let's just say that this image is the background noise around you all the time. That's, if you're on the street, there's cars driving by, the sound of that, the sound of the wind blowing, the feel of the wind on you. This is all of the different sensory stuff that you could possibly be you could be possibly experiencing at any given time. And then this circle represents the stimuli that you are capable of processing in your body at any given time, whether that's thoughts or whether that's touch. There's as I learned in science class, there's a light wavelengths and sound frequencies that we can't perceive. That doesn't mean it's not there. So inside the circle are the frequencies of light. Say the yellow stuff here is the light, the red stuff is the sound, the blue stuff could be the touch or the feeling. It's all the different possible sensory things that you could be experiencing at any given time that your body is capable of perceiving. And that's going to vary. Some people have different hearing, more detailed hearing. Some people have better sight. So it's a very personal thing. And then we have this, which is what you're focusing on at any given time. This is about, like, I'm crossing the street, for example, and I'm looking for cars. So maybe inside this circle is the specific stimuli that I am looking for to make sure I don't get hit by a car. My awareness of the light, my awareness of the cars coming at me, and the speed. And one thing that you'll notice is that when you're focusing on that one thing, the rest of it kind of goes away. So our experience of the world is typically inside this circle. And that circle shifts. If we are not, the goal of mindfulness is to make that circle as big as possible. By not engaging and focusing on a specific thing, we are opening ourselves up to everything, or as much as we can actually perceive at that given moment. To give a specific example of this, I had a tough weekend, so I went to the woods nearby and just sat with a pond. I sat at a pond in the rain and just hung out for a little bit. This is kind of my view. We'll just open that up. So this is kind of what I was seeing while I was sitting there. And I probably sat there for 30 minutes. And in the course of that 30 minutes, there were lots of things that were going on. I didn't take a picture of it. I wish I did, but I'm happy I didn't, because it would have disrupted my whole thing. While I was sitting there, just not responding to anything, not focusing on anything, not worrying about anything, and just sitting. And I noticed a little mouse ran through at the bottom of this log, through these leaves at my feet. And I noticed the mouse. I was happy I saw the mouse. He was cute. And then he ran off. It ran off. And I noticed in a little bit, let me open up the next picture, off to my right, I saw the mouse. I saw a flash of the mouse's fur, and I saw the weeds here, or the plants, like flutter a little bit as he ran past them. I don't know how he got from the log to over here, but he was moving at a pretty good clip. And then probably 20 or 30 seconds later, I saw some more leaves kind of jostle over here. So what does this have to do with mindfulness? If I had been focused when sitting there on what I was going to do with work today, or what did I want to have for dinner, or, oh my God, it's annoying, the air show is in town, so these jets are flying overhead, and it's just, if my brain was focused on any of those individual things that kept trying to get my attention, I would never have noticed that mouse. And in noticing the mouse, I was aware of the mouse's presence. So when the leaves rustled off to, or when the leaves rustled around a little bit off to the right, I was able to see the flash of the mouse's fur, and I noticed that the mouse was over there, and the mouse was rustling those plants. And then a little bit later, when the plants rustled again, I can draw the conclusion, probably, that was the mouse continuing on his path over to this other section, and that's probably what made those things. I now know that if I'm in that area and I see those little plants rustle, there's a good chance that it's a mouse moving around. Maybe it's a bird, it could be any number of things. But the point is, by not focusing on one thing, I was able to be aware of a lot more. The brain only has so many cycles, so much capability at any given time to think about stuff. There's only so much stimuli we can bring in, and there's only so much attention that we can put on things. So how do we do that? How do you get your brain to be more open to those possibilities? It's a practice. Just as with anything else, if I was practicing, not that I ever did this, if I was trying to hit a ball, if I was on the baseball team or the softball team, and I was trying to practice swinging, making my body move in such a way to swing the bat and hit the ball. You don't practice that stuff in the game. You practice it in practice prior to, in the days before, to get your body in that motion. If I'm learning to throw a ball, I'm practicing, I'm training my body to move in a certain way consistently without me having to think about it. I'm teaching myself to just, by instinct, behave a certain way. And the mind is very much, it is part of your body, and it can be trained to behave in certain ways. With mindfulness practice, if you're practicing it every day, which is ideal, and you're just practicing sitting for a few minutes a day, not thinking and not engaging, not letting your thoughts grab hold of something and then run off in a different direction. And then when you do, not we'll get into the chastising yourself, but bring yourself back. You are going to get distracted in a mindfulness practice. You bring yourself back to just not thinking about anything and not focusing on anything, and continue. It's a practice. It's not like you're ever done. You don't practice mindfulness for 10 years and think, oh, I'm great, I don't have to practice anymore. It's a continuous training to train your brain to not automatically grab hold of things and follow them with your mind. Training your mind to behave that way allows you, when you're in a moment of crisis, if things are crazy, if there's a car that's coming, if you're walking downtown and you're being mindful, you're continuing that practice. Maybe you notice that the car that's coming after you, but if you are coming down the street, it might hit you. But if you are focused on what you're making for dinner that night, you're distracted. That's not where your mind is. You're ignoring that other stimuli. All mindfulness is training your mind to not follow thoughts, not focus on things, and to be open to lots of different things. That's not a state you should be in all the time, because there are times where I need to focus on a problem. If I'm trying out a new recipe, I need to be really focused on how that meat is caramelizing. Are the onions cooked enough? You have to be focused on that. When I'm focused on that, I'm not paying attention to what my dog is doing behind me, and he might be getting into the trash can. We choose where to put our focus. The difference is, are you making what mindfulness really helps with is that you're making a conscious choice of where to put your mental energy, of what you're focusing your mind on. By training yourself to be in a state where you're not really focusing on anything, when you then put your focus on something, it's a choice. It's not an instinct. All sorts of mental issues like anxiety is a really good one, where I'm thinking about what could go wrong. That's often not a choice. My brain is trained, I'm just going there. My brain is attaching to it and I'm going along with it. By training and practicing on mindfulness, what you're doing is giving yourself that option to not follow that anxious thought. To, when you are allowing yourself to make a choice of what to think about, rather than thinking about whatever you're instinctually going to. It's no different from training for sports or training your body to behave in a certain way. It's really just about training your mind to be open, look at stuff, and then make a choice of what you're going to focus on. I'm not going to do a video trying to teach. I'm not qualified to teach people mindfulness. I'm not qualified to teach you Soto Zen or anything like that. I find it to be an intensely valuable thing, and it's something that slows me down enough that I can look at a situation and then make better choices about it. Because if I'm not following that thought, if I am just sitting with my feelings, sitting with my thoughts, sitting with the information, I'm free to then draw conclusions, see connections that maybe I wouldn't have seen before if my mind was so busy chasing that thought. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go back and look at this video and see if I need to edit it or not. I'm not going to change anything, but I might need to add some clarification. Editing, Justin here. No, I rambled a little bit, but I didn't change anything. The point to all of this is that mindfulness is a core aspect to how I got to be a lot better and happier, and how my day got how my tomorrows started to be a little bit better, and I started to struggle quite a bit less. Anyway, I think I'm about done. I can't think of anything else to add to mindfulness. Hopefully the new microphone worked. I think the camera angle's a little bit weird. If you've got any questions, if you liked it, like the video. If you've got comments, throw them into the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys if you have similar experiences with mindfulness, or if you find it to be helpful, or if you've got questions. I'll look for some good resources about it, and if you're interested, I'll throw them on there. If you've got questions, throw that in the comments. I hope everyone has a good day, and that tomorrow is a little bit better.